Welcome to Modding Fallout New Vegas Part 5. In this tutorial we're going to install and learn to use a new tool called FNVEdit or Fallout New Vegas Edit. Okay, now the aims of this tutorial, there are 5 of them. 1. Get the tool installed and learn to use it. 2. Learn about conflicts and how to resolve them. We're going to be using merge patches for that. 3. Learn how to use FNVEdit to identify problems with your load order, things that make your game crash when you start, for example. 4. Learn the difference between a master file and being the master of another file. There is a difference. And 5. We're going to learn about master updates, what it is and how to do it, and why it might actually break your game. So, first thing to do, download the archive from the Nexus website. If you go along to the file section, there are several versions. Obviously download the very latest version and you will get the RAR file. The RAR file contains just 2 files. Those 2 files need extracting together somewhere. Now I always put them in a folder inside my main game folder. So for example, I've got FNVEdit -3-0-21 and I placed both of them there. And because I'm quite lazy, I tend to create a shortcut and put it on my desktop. But that's just me. You don't need to do it. You can run it from here. And it's really that easy. This is now installed. The tool is installed. There's nothing else really that you need to do. So let's just run it. Let's see what it does. You'll notice the first thing is it gives you your master plugin selection. This is all the ESPs and ESMs you've got installed. That's what it currently defaults to. You'll notice some are not installed, some are not checked. Those are the ones I don't have checked in my load order. You can select none, select all, change the selection, do what you like with it, but I'm going to leave it as default. I click OK. And what it's doing now is it's loading all the files I've got in my data folder that are in my load order. It takes a little time. Now, close it. One thing you should know is sometimes when you close FNVEdit, some of the earlier versions at least, is it attempts to change some of the DLC and some of the pre-order packs. For me it's always Dead Money and the Caravan Pack. I don't know why it wants to do that, but if it does it for you, if that happens and it says which files to save, I'll show you later on, and those 2 are up, deselect them, do not save them. I don't know what will happen if you did save them, but I do not suggest experimenting. Okay, so that's it. We've got the tool, it's up, it's running, no problem. So what can we do with it? Well, the first thing we're going to learn to do is how to resolve conflicts. Now, what is a conflict? Well, a conflict is where 2 mods attempt to change the same thing, and basically only one of those mods wins the conflict, i.e. the changes from one mod get remembered, but not the others. Obviously this can have some bad effects. You lose the effect that all the mods apply, but you could also have a situation where the mod simply stops working because of this, or worse still, even causes a crash. So obviously these are things we would like to avoid. Let's have a look at a real example. I'm going to look at the Cowboy perk, I think. The Cowboy perk is a really good example of things that will conflict. For those that don't know, Cowboy perk is a perk that adds bonuses to certain weapons. And those weapons are found in a list. And it's a list that comes in the main file. But obviously there are new weapons added in, say, Dead Money, in Honest Hearts, and Old World Blues, and they might be added to the list as well. And Project Nevada, that will add ones, I think. Wet mod kits, they might. So for example, there's a few mods that probably try to add things to the same list. So let's have a quick look at those and open one of them up and see Form ID list. There we go. Perk Cowboy Weapons is one of the first lists. Now we have to give it a little second for it to finish loading. There we go. And you'll notice Perk Cowboy Weapons in FNVEdit is already surrounded with a sort of pink background. This means it's registered there is some sort of problem. Now, if you look at this list, it's a little difficult to see because the name's quite long on some of the weapons. Here we have our 4 mods that affect this one list. This is the original list, right here. Project Nevada, the equipment master file, adds 4 new weapons. 4 new weapons that you will also notice are in red. This means they lost the conflict, which is not good. Weapon mods expanded, it added a weapon, but this is still green, so it's okay. And then we look at weapon mod kits, expanded dead money, it also added the police pistol. Wow, that's quite useful actually. So basically at the end of the day, this is going to be the winner, the last mod loaded, 07, and you can see what is going to be in effect our list, which is all the original weapons plus, oh no, I do not want to change that, plus these 2, but we're missing the ones added by Project Nevada. This is a conflict. Now obviously this is not good, we don't want this, we want those weapons on our list amongst a million other things. As you can see, there are several lists in conflict. So I'm going to close that and I'm going to reopen it again, this time with every one of my mods selected, and let it load. Now it's going to take some time. What we're actually going to do here is make a merge patch, and a merge patch is essentially a sort of Uber compatibility patch. It's a compatibility patch between all of your mods that might need it. Now it's not as good as the compatibility patches you'll download from mod authors themselves because they've paid a lot more attention to them, but as a general rule, merge patches are actually pretty good at cleaning up a lot of your conflicts. Now it's loaded, I right click anywhere in the left hand panel on any of the mods. It actually doesn't matter which mod you click. I click on Create Merge Patch, and then I give it a file name without an extension. So my merge patch. Call it something useful, and click OK. Immediately at the bottom, you'll see my merge patch has opened, and if I expand it with the plus icon, I can see file header. These are all the master files it needed to handle. As you can see, Dead Money, Honest Hearts, Old World Blues, oh, A World of Pain had some problems, and so on. These are all the files it found conflicted with each other. So let's have a look at what it did. It added some containers. Now that's several mods adding the same thing to different containers, or sorry, different things to the same container. Form ID list. This is the one we were looking at before. Let's have a look at our cowboy perk. Now you'll notice it's in green now. Everything's fine. This is our merge patch. Let's see what it did. And A World of Pain also added some to it, to this list. So Project Nevada, yes, there's quite a few. Now you'll see this is my merge patch, which is going to come last in my load order, and so it will win any conflict. But you'll notice what it's actually done is it's taken every single thing that all of those mods have added and made a new list from it. A new list. It's resolved the conflict by letting every mod win. And it's done it for an awful lot of things. A lot of NPCs, a lot of leveled items. These are the usual culprits that need merging. As you can see, it's done quite a lot for me. And that's it. The merge patch is ready to go. To save it, I close FNVEdit, and it says Save Changed Files, My Merge Patch. Now, again, please note, if there are any other files that appear here, deselect them so it does not save. So you'd do that, and it would not save it. We obviously want to save My Merge Patch. So make sure that's the only file to be saved, and then click OK. We now have a merge patch. So let's open up Fallout Mod Manager. As you see, it's at the end. Make sure it's selected. And this is very important. The merge patch has to come after every other file that is selected. Technically, it has to come below every single one of its master files. As you can see, there are quite a lot of them. But just get in the habit of sticking the merge patch at the end. And that is it. You now have a merge patch. Okay, so what are we going to handle next? Well, the next thing we're going to handle are load order problems and crash on startup. There are two causes of crash at startup. The first cause is that your HUD and menu has been corrupted by uninstalling a mod. That is very, very easy to fix. You deactivate Unified HUD Project and activate it again. If you don't know what that is, see one of the earlier tutorials. And the second reason the game crashes on startup is one of your files has tried to load a master that does not exist. I'll cover what that means later on. Just for now, just know it's looking for something that's not there. And I'm going to show you this by going to my package manager and I'm going to uninstall WMX. I'm going to uninstall the weapon mod expanded. So I've uninstalled WMX now. I've uninstalled it and I launch my game. And it crashes. Oh no. Panic time. So, what's the problem? Well, you could open up Fallout Mod Manager and go through them all, deselect them one at a time until you found the one that was causing the problem. Or you could deselect them all and install them one at a time, or you could try and figure it out. But you don't need to. It's a lot easier to simply run FNVEdit, click on OK. Remember, it just selects all the files you've got, and watch what happens. It starts trying to load things, and all of a sudden an error occurred while loading modules. Editing is disabled. And what is it? If I look over here in the debug output, the last file it tried to load was Project Nevada WMX ESP, and then it tried to load the following master files: the Fallout, the main master, the core master, their equipment master, and weapon mods expanded, which doesn't exist. And sure enough, Project Nevada WMX, there it is. Let's deselect that. Now, before we try the game, let's run FNVEdit again, just in case. You'll notice this is not selected anymore. Let's run it in case, because of course, who knows? Maybe there was more than what? Yes, there was. My merge patch. Of course, the merge patch had WMX stuff in it. The merge patch we made earlier. I'll need to make a new merge patch. But that was the last file in the list, so it's the last one loaded. So once you fix your merge patch, your game will work perfectly. And that is how easy it is to fix that problem. Okay, well hopefully now everyone's pretty knowledgeable about what it means when I say things like this file is a master of another. So for example, if I look at WMX Old World Blues, you can see it has 3 masters. Now 2 of these are actually ESM files and one of them is an ESP file. But these are the 3 masters of the WMX Old World Blues file. But they are not all master files. So what is the difference? Well, you can see this last one, Weapon Mods Expanded, is an ESP file. Normally, master files are marked as ESMs, but it's not actually completely necessary. Sometimes a master file can be marked ESP. So what is a master file? Well, if I open up FNVEdit and load all my files, which usually takes a little time, and then I click on any of these masters and go to the file header, you'll see the record flags have got ESM flagged. This means it is a master. If I pick, say, Project Nevada's Dead Money and look at the file header, not a master. And that is what decides whether a file is or is not a master file. But what does that actually mean? Well, the most important thing for you to know about master files really is that they always get loaded before non-master files. So for example, if I took any of these masters, let's take the Electricity master, and moved it down here below all these plugins, these non-master files, it would not matter. It would not matter this file would be loaded before all of these regardless. The game always loads them first, always, without exception. There's also some other small differences, and for example, if you're a mod author, the GEC will not let you edit anything that's been flagged as a master. It's kind of annoying actually, but that's the real thing you need to know. Okay, so that's the difference between a master file and just a file being a master of another file. And we're going to be focusing on master files now because we are doing the master update. Now, a master update is a very simple process, and I will first of all show you what the process is so you understand how simple it is. Let me close Format Mod Manager. I copy FNVEdit.exe, the executable, into the same directory. I then rename that file FNVMasterUpdate.exe. I then do the same thing again, copy the file, rename it this time to FNVRestore.exe. I have now created 2 new programs, renamed. I'm going to run FNV Master Update. And there it goes. It's now processing every file in my list, one after another. And I close it, it saves, and now every single solitary ESP that I have selected in my load order has been marked as a master. So, why have you done this? Well, many people find that a master update improves the stability of the game. They get less crashes. This is not true for everyone. So for example, I don't actually notice any difference, but I have a very, very stable game anyway. But if you're having stability problems and crashing a lot, this is definitely something that's worth trying. However, you should be aware that there is a downside. Many mods do not work with the master update. So for example, the Advanced Recon Rangefinder, in its first version, version 1, it did not work at all if you ran master update. It does now, but it did not in those days. And another mod that is very popular is New Vegas Bounties, and I'm afraid that one doesn't work with a master update either. So you should be aware of that. So, let's just say you decide you've run your master update, and unfortunately some of your mods have stopped working, so you want to undo it. It's dead easy. Go to FNV Master Restore, double click that, and it undoes that process. Any ESP it finds that's been marked as a master, it now marks it back. That's all ESPs that are not that are marked as a master, it marks them back as not being a master any longer. And that's it. You've now undone the process. So, you've now successfully done a master update, hopefully if you need it, and you can undo it if it turns out to be a problem. There are actually ways around this, so you can do a master update and still have mods like New Vegas Bounties working. And I will leave that to you to figure out how, or I'll put it in an advanced tutorial. But if you do a master update and turn everything into a master and then go to those 1 or 2 files and manually change them back, you may find you actually fixed that problem. However, I will cover that in more detail at another time. Okay, and that is basically all you need to know to get started on FNVEdit tool. There is tons more you can do with it, tons more. It's a very, very powerful tool, and you could be exploring it for weeks, but this should at least get you started, get you on the right track. So I hope that helped.